All right, so there's a Braves announcer getting a lot of heat online, and I got to run this by you guys. Maybe I'm just old school here. So the headline in the AJC reads, Braves announcer Wiley Ballard catches heat for getting woman's phone number, I should say, on air during a game. So let me just set this up. The Braves are playing the Toronto Blue Jays a couple of nights ago.
Have they won a game yet?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just
yeah, they're 6 in, I think. I think they got 6 wins now. So he is like the field reporter guy. He's not the guy doing like the play-by-play or the color, but he's the guy that goes out in the crowd or he's on the sidelines and stuff like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. So do you talk like he talks to the players after the game, et cetera? Or?
Yeah, or he's in the stands. So he's in the Toronto Stadium and he's at the rooftop and he's just interviewing fans that are drinking and having a good time up there, and he happens to be between two women. It gets more kind of uncomfortable. They're sort of like pushing him in to get the phone number, which I don't initially think is what he was saying.
No.
He was saying go to work, I think, to like make her a Braves fan, right?
Yeah. That's how I took it.
That's how I took it too.
Well, the real talking point here is they go back to him and he is indeed getting her phone number.
Oh, so they go back to the game because you can actually hear them playing a game. I don't know how interesting the game was considering they spent so much time on that, but that's totally fine. So they go back to him and he's securing the digits.
He's legitimately, she has his phone in hand, putting her number in his phone, and he gets the digits, right? So at first it was all a good time. Here are some of the comments online. Best part of game, great game last night. I was laughing so hard because I think the Braves won that game. Wiley scored before the Blue Jays. Great game. Then the reaction started coming from people that didn't think it was appropriate at all. Completely classless by a broadcast team. Here's another one. Example number 28495. Why men get away with the bottom of the barrel content because misogyny is alive and well in sports television. A woman could never and would never without losing their job over this. Lazy, disappointing, offensive, grimy. I could go on. Yikes all around. Then Chelsea Janes, who is a reporter for the Washington Post, posts, imagine if a female reporter did anything like this. Career over. Pretty brutal to see it glorified by the broadcast. Then the Nashville Predators reporter chimed in as well. If this were a female reporter asking for a man's number, it would be unprofessional. But if a man does it, it's funny and acceptable to take multiple victory laps after doing so. Misogyny is alive and well, folks. Then somebody from the Morning Post, or Dallas Morning News, I should say, if a female sideline dugout reporter did this, she'd be called horrible names and probably be run out of town. And then people started coming down on the female reporters. People can't have any fun anymore. The scolds just have to come out for even more silly little moments. Then another one writes, whether it is a female or male reporter doing it, the whole setup sounds like a plot of a movie or book that women would read and think, I wish that would happen to me. Y'all love enemies. Enemies to friends and one bed tropes, but then freak out when a reporter has a little game.
Okay, one of those is fiction. The other is real life. And I think that's a very important distinction.
So was this like way out of line?
I personally didn't think so. And it only because the anchors, from what I could tell, and I don't watch a lot of sports broadcasts, to me, this sideline reporter's job is to sort of add some lighthearted fun to the game. Like, his job isn't standing there with a player and asking for his number or her number, whoever. It seems like he's all about fan interaction and audience interaction, and the anchors pitched him something and he hit it. So in my opinion, he was doing his job. They pitched him a weird line about getting her number, and so he's like, you know what? My job is to say yes and to make this an entertaining broadcast. So I'm not going to make it weird and go, oh, I'm not getting her number, because then he'd be called stuck up for shutting it down, whereas he's just playing into it. He's going to get her number. It's going to be harmless fun. They probably never even texted after, so I think we got to laugh a little at it.
So television is way more buttoned up than radio. That's for sure. And just with my tenure in radio, I didn't think anything of it. I really didn't. Like listening to it and like the guys, nudging it or whatever, and then him running with it like Abby, it was just kind of like, it didn't seem like it was a setup. It felt like an impromptu bit and then they ran with it kind of thing. And in my head, like hearing this, if a woman did it, I was actually thinking this guy is getting really come down on, but if a woman did it, I think people would find it even more funny.
So I think I wonder if there are two arguments here. I think what we're arguing here is what the general public's reaction would be versus what her probably male bosses and those in the office, how they would react to it.
So you think a male boss would come down on a woman for having done this with a fan interaction, but if a guy does it, he gets away with it?
I think that's what the women are insinuating.
Yeah, see, I disagree.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been that big of a deal if a woman did it or if a man has done it. I think in times it's gone both ways, where you've seen like a woman flirt with a guy in an awkward situation and a guy has done it, and it kind of is split. But to me, I guess I could see how you can argue it would be unprofessional. Like, and if she felt the way about being put in on the spot like that on national television when she didn't ask to be, I would understand how she would feel away. But if she doesn't feel away, I don't understand why everybody's making a big deal out of it.
Here's what I want to ask you guys, though, because you have said before that the reaction to women online when it comes to this job is much different than it is for guys, right?
Oh, for sure. You guys get away with saying stuff that we can't because there's
a different standard, a different bar.
Yeah.
So within the office, do you think that would be inappropriate for her perhaps male supervisors, or a guy wouldn't even think about it, or a supervisor that's a male wouldn't even think about it at all?
If they work together, you're asking, and he was the supervisor asking her for her number?
No. He's saying so you take Wiley out of it and you put a woman there.
Right.
And she does that with a male fan, with the interaction, right? That the bosses at the broadcast company are going to come down on her for having done it, but they're going to be like giving Wiley a high five because it was good TV.
I think that's what the women reporters online were saying.
Well, then I'm going to have to take their word for it because I do radio and I got high-fived when I slipped Niall Horan his number. So I don't like from a female sportscaster standpoint, these women who are saying that's the case, and I'm gonna have to take their word for it.
I absolutely think there's a different standard for women in media, but I think we do tend to take our own wounds and experiences and project them onto every scenario so that we can come out and be like, look at all this injustice that's happened to us, and look, if I had been in that position. But I think this is a completely different situation. It was clearly a lighthearted moment. I think we need to stop projecting so much of our wounds on other people.
The Bert Show.